What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the new video where we're going to talk about why it is that women are so selective with men. And the way I titled this video is, why do women only want the top 20% of men? So if you stick with me through this video, I'm going to explain exactly why that's the case, how you can put yourself into that top 20%, and make sure you stay all the way to the end because I'm going to give you a gift that'll really help you with this exact thing. So without further delay, let's dig right into it. And let's first talk about the numbers. So I'm not just going to make this some, generic thing where I kind of just tell you, women only want the top 20% of men. I'm going to give you some data on this. And in fact, it actually is even less than that if we look at some stuff on dating apps. So when you look at a company performed a Tinder economy analysis, and it was that the bottom 80% of men were basically competing for the bottom 22% of women. Okay, so a really large pool of men, 80%, so 8 out of every 10 men competing for the bottom 2 out of 10 women. Okay, and in the other way, the top 20% of men capture the majority of female attention on Tinder. Okay, and when we look at a different study, it showed that men like 61.9% of women on Tinder, while women liked only 4.5% of men. So what you should take away from these numbers is that women are very, very selective with men. And the real question is, why is that the case? Why are women so selective when it comes to us men? Now, this all starts with understanding the genetic, biological, evolutionary differences between men and women. I have notes in front of me because I want to make sure I hit on these things correctly, because this is so important for you to understand because of what this means for your life as a man, right? In previous human history, the investment risk for women with men was very high, right? The risk of pregnancy, etc. Because if you think about it, a woman getting pregnant 10,000 years ago did not come with the same luxuries we have today. Having children in hospitals, if something goes wrong, the doctors can treat them. There was a large risk with pregnancy. Additionally, once the child was had, that child would then take resources and consume resources. Well, if those resources are not abundant all the time, like it was in the older world, you had to make sure you could provide those resources for your offspring, your children, and yourself. And additionally, that world was also very violent and very dangerous. So what women sought was to make sure that the men they chose to have these children with were not only like strong physically, but also emotionally, mentally, etc., because they wanted to know that a man could protect her, a man could provide good genetic offspring for her. Okay, so for a man, having a child was not as risky as a woman. And even in today's world, to some extent, that still exists. You have to understand, this is where women evolved to be very choosy, right? They are a lot more choosy than we are as men. And we see this across dating apps. We see this. If you just talk to men and women, you'll see this. Women their strategy is to basically find the best value that they can find in a man. That satisfies hypergamy, that satisfies what they want across, the short term and the long term, which those things are a lot different. And I'm not going to really get into those as much in this video, but I'm going to show you how you can basically move yourself from that 80% of men to that 20% of men. So you have to understand, like I said, the basis of this video is that the 20% of men are satisfying those choosing signals that women look for, at least in terms of initial attraction. Now, what are those things that matter that draw women in, let's say on dating apps, or let's say even in person, in a gym, in a workplace, whatever it is? So, like I said, women have very different things they look for in men, whether it's like a short-term or long-term thing. So what they look for in terms of short-term is most of the stuff you've heard of, right? They want to see, height. They want to see looks. They want to see dominance in how you carry yourself with confidence and so forth. They want to see muscle. They want to see a lean physique. They want to see you carry yourself correctly, like I was saying. Money, status, all these things, right? So, but those aren't necessarily what keeps a woman long-term. But what we're really talking about now is like the choosing signals. These are choosing signals. This is what gets you in the door with a woman, okay? So what keeps you with a woman is actually a lot different a lot of the times, and it's not really those things all the time. Now, some of it is to a certain extent, but like, let's just take the one example I said with money. it's not about how much money you have right now. It's your demonstration of competency to show that you can get money and resources in the long term. That's what women are really looking for. Okay, you don't need to be the most loaded man today, but you do need to show competency and the ability to work hard and have discipline and so forth. And that's what will show a woman that you have the skills and the mindset to acquire resources in the long term. Okay. So what a woman's always looking at from the first time she swipes on you on a dating app or sees you on Instagram or meets you in person or whatever is she's kind of weighing you in terms of where you fit into how she approaches and looks at things. Like, are you a short-term possibility? Are you a long-term possibility? Or are you neither of those because you're not creating attraction in her? Unfortunately, like I said, 8 out of every 10 guys is not creating that attraction in most women. And what you need to understand is that the hotter the woman is, the more attractive she is, the younger, the more feminine she is, the higher her SMV is, that's her sexual market value. That's where she ranks on the sexual market, like dating market, right? The stronger her ability to pull in a guy that also is at that level is going to be. Her whole game is basically to look at and see what can she attract? Where is she standing? Can she do better than you? Right? That's what women are always kind of looking at. They're hypergamous by nature. That's what that means. They want to date up if they can. If they can do better, they will go on to do better. That's how women are. Now, that brings up the question, well, how do you put yourself into that 20%? How do you build yourself into being a man that can get in that 20%? Because that is the case. See, for me, when I was younger, I'm 32 now, I was not in that 20%. I still did okay with women, but what I found is that as I built myself, not even trying with women, right? Like I just wanted to level up myself as a business owner, as a metal vocalist, as a bodybuilder, and improve my physique. I wanted to improve my confidence, all these things. I started to do better with women. And what you'll find as a man is that this world with women specifically, but also in terms of everything you want in your career, the things that'll make you happiest, most fulfilled, etc., they all go together. Okay? This is why I teach men about magnetism. Because what magnetism is you build yourself so strongly that you just think of a magnet. You just pull in the stuff that you want. Think of the sun. I say this in my other videos if you've seen them. The sun is so strong gravitationally, pulls all the planets around it. Why? Because that center of mass is so strong, our solar system has to orbit it. The same way that the moon has to orbit that our Earth. The same way that I'm glued to this couch because of gravity, right? The gravitational force is that strong. The men that are in that 20%, they have that gravity. They have that in terms of their looks. Maybe it's their height. Maybe it's their presence, the way they carry themselves. Maybe they have a beard. I'm just making shit up here. Maybe they have muscle. Maybe they're leaner. Maybe they have a great aesthetic, like the skateboard guy or the metal vocalist or the rapper or the guy. Like they have a unique persona. See, that's the thing. Like most guys are just trying to be a good dude. Like they're just trying to work their 9-to-5 job and check the boxes off every day and be like, well, I saved my money and I have a 401k and so forth. And I check all the boxes and logically on paper, I should be attractive to women, blah, blah, blah. Like that's not how women work. You understand that? Women have to be moved in their body. They have to feel things emotionally. And that emotion, they can feel that attraction through a dating app. Just looking at a guy by how you're standing in your pictures, by how you carry yourself, the things you say about yourself, your body language, your posture. These things all matter. And what really matters and where those things come from in a lot of ways, your hormones, right? If your hormones are screwed up as a man, you have low testosterone, you're not going to carry yourself right. You're not going to make eye contact. You're not going to stand confident in pictures. You're not going to look confident. Your physique's not going to be great. Your body fat's going to probably be too high, right? You have bad habits. You drink a lot on the weekends. Maybe you drink every night. Your body's not going to look good. Your mindset's going to suck. Your sleep's not going to be good. You're not going to carry yourself well. You're not going to have goals for yourself. Because, if you drink a lot, you're just trying to escape reality. Women don't want that. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want the guy that's building himself and moving towards something in life. And believe it or not, they're wired to literally sense that through a phone screen. That's how strong their radar is for that. Okay? Now, I know you're probably sitting there thinking, well, what about the bad boys? Like, what about the guys that, like, you know, women are drawn to that don't really care? They don't really take care of themselves. They have bad habits or whatever. Well, what it is that those guys are focused on themselves. You're right. Some women will be drawn to guys that drink a lot, smoke, whatever, okay? But those guys won't be able to retain those women, which brings up the whole different conversation that I don't want to get into in this video about long term. What I'm trying to get you is into that 20% of guys that women are drawn to. So what are the things you actually need to do to become in that 20% of men? It's a great question. You need to do the following things I'm going to lay out for you very quickly, and I could build a whole video about this, and I probably will. You need to build your body. That means you need to get more muscle, you need to look leaner, you need to take care of yourself, you need to groom yourself, right? You need to get your hair cut. You need to take care, if you have facial hair, you need to groom it better, okay? You need to make sure you don't look like a sloppy mess when you dress. That's the first thing. The second thing is you need to develop your mindset. You need to become more mentally resilient. You need to learn discipline. You need to learn how to control your responses to things, to be more stoic, to not be as emotionally reactive to everything. You need to learn how to build life direction, your spirit directed at something, your mission in life. Where are you going? What are you building in this life? Where are you going? Women want to be a part of a guy that's going somewhere. Where is it that you're going with your life? I don't care if you're 21 or 48. You need to have a vision and mission for your life. You need to have a legacy focus. You need to be thinking about, where am I going? What am I building? If you can't answer that question, you're going to struggle. Women are not going to be pulled into you. Women are magnetized to guys that win in life. And the guys that win in life are the ones that have vision and mission for their life. You need to define that for yourself. And the other thing is, women are drawn to men who don't care about what the women do in response to them. Meaning, you are so focused on your life, building your body, your mindset, your mission, your life direction, that you don't give a shit what she thinks about it. You say, hey, this is where I'm going, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing, and I don't care what you think about that. If you want to join me in that, great. If not, I'm continuing where I'm going. That is how you pull women in, okay? Believe it or not, like I said, they can feel these things instinctually, even through a phone screen, on Instagram, on Tinder, on Hinge, whatever it is that you're using. Women can feel this stuff, but they can definitely feel it in the gym, in the workplace, in school, whatever it is, okay? So as I told you at the end of this video, I was going to give you a gift to help you do this. And I am going to deliver on that promise. If you go down into my bio, you will see something about the magnetic effect. It's a free training I built that will help you to build yourself and give you the exact structure that you need to build your body, your mind, your life direction, your understanding on deeper levels of women and these things we're talking about, and how to get what you want out of life. Because what you're gonna find is the same things that draw women in are the same things that get men to respect you and open opportunities in your career, business, money, all the things that you want, okay? So go take that training. Make sure you're subscribed, because I'm putting videos out like this every single day of the work week, because I want to help men grow and build themselves. I want to see more men move from that 80% into that 20% that women want. I'm going to leave you right here. Go take that training right now. It'll change your life. I will see you in the next video.